You're tuned in to the DMV Hoops Podcast.
This is John Inscriptor, head girls basketball coach at St. John's College High School, and this is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast, the DMV's home for high school basketball. Hosted by Kurt Cross and featuring Chelsea Cross. We bring you the latest news, interviews, rankings, recruiting buzz, and standout performances from the public and private school basketball scene across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Stream us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, YouTube, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Now, let's get into it. Here's your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast. As always, I'm Kurt Cross. She is
Chelsea Cross.
Of course, we're on the campus of DeMatha Catholic High School, right here in Hinesville, Maryland, the Morgan and Kathy Wooten Gymnasium. It's not Summer League. It is DMV Live. We have a gentleman who, well, this is home for him, Mr. Mike G. Jones, head coach of the DeMatha Stags. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I talked to you a couple weeks ago. You said whenever we're ready. Here we are, Coach, but I will talk about Summer League for just a second. My daughter noticed one thing. If I happen to see you on July 3rd, I don't know if I have enough swag because you got a hell of a coaching staff. You got a lot of guys over there. I got to make sure I have something for everybody if we're seeing you on July 3rd. How's this live weekend going, sir?
It's going well. We're 0-2 right now. 2 weeks ago, we went 4-0, so 0-2 right now, trying to figure out all the little details of what we need to do to be successful going into the season, but I'm happy how hard we fought tonight.
Okay, Chelsea, what you got?
Coach, you mentioned how earlier in the live period, 2 weekends ago, you went 4-0, and now you're not doing so well. How do you kind of make adjustments in the locker room, or kind of what is your message to these guys when there's such a swing?
Yeah, every game you gotta approach it as your last game, so to speak. So we want to be detail-oriented in regards to following a game plan from a defensive and offensive standpoint. And I felt like the first live period we did a great job of just kind of executing. We averaged 22 assists a game. This live period, the ball is kind of sticking a little bit from an offensive standpoint. We're right at 11 assists, and then we're just not getting the quality stops that we got last week, 2 weeks ago. So we're just working on trying to be a little more physical on the defensive end, limit teams to one shot, rebound the ball well, and really work on spacing from an offensive standpoint.
There's a lot of things I see differently this year than in previous years. But aside from that, I'll start with your opening play of that game. You ran a high screen in a backdoor cut, and it seemed to work a lot in that game.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm the layman and I'm seeing that, maybe you're outsmarting them. They seem to not be able to pick up on that right away. So I love what I saw there. But I told you a couple of weeks ago, you look more athletic. You look more defensive. Is that a point of emphasis now?
Yeah, that's a point. It's always a point of emphasis to be defensive minded. But we did upgrade in the athletic department. A lot of the younger guys really worked hard over the period just to get a little more athletic, a little stronger. We had a really good strength and conditioning coach. But with all that being said, we still got to execute and perform on a big stage. And a lot of these guys, it's their first time actually being on a big stage playing in front of coaches like this, so it's a great opportunity for them to learn and for us to learn as well.
How's camp going, sir?
Camp is going well. We just finished our second week. Numbers are looking pretty good. It's wearing me out a little bit, but it's a great opportunity for us and my staff to give back to the community.
Are you getting on the golf course at all?
No, I don't have time for that. But I have two boys that's, playing AAU ball, so the month of July is all dedicated to them. My wife and I will be going from state to state, just switching. My youngest son is starting to play AAU basketball now, Maverick, so we just got to support him as well. So some weeks she'll go with him, and then I'll go with Major, then we just flip. So
I don't know how you have time for us. You're here during the week. You're here for workouts. You're here for this, that, and the other. Does it ever get old, this being home?
No. I love the game of basketball. I love the DeMatha community. I just want to give back, kind of like what my coach did for me when I was growing up, and just always be there for my players and also my kids and wife. When it comes to my wife, I got to be super intentional and attentive when I'm at home. I I can't talk. She can't talk to me, and I can't be scrolling when she's talking, so she gets a little irritated.
Right. I don't know if we covered this last year when we interviewed you. Why do we not know what's your story? Where did you go to school?
So I grew up in Oklahoma City.
Did we know that? You must have asked him last year. We must have
I
asked
think so, yeah. So I grew up in Oklahoma City, went to a pretty good high school there. I got a long history of basketball in Oklahoma City. Then I ended up going to TCU playing for Billy Tubbs, the legendary coach from Oklahoma University. But I played at TCU when he went to TCU. So it was just a great opportunity for me to continue my playing career from high school to college, and then college to the pros. I played 11 years in Europe, all over. Most of my time was in France and in Turkey, played EuroLeague as well for Fenerbahce. Then I ended up working 2 years in the NBA with the Brooklyn Nets. Started off in the video room and then worked my way up to being on the bench for 1 year.
Okay. Did you cross paths with my boy David Vanderpool?
Yeah. So Vanderpool's a little older than me. So I think when he was, when I was just getting to France, he was leaving France. I think he played in Spain and Italy.
I saw him on NBA TV in some Russian league, or they were playing some Russian team. I don't know. He was all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Coach, what does this look like, this live period, versus when you were in high school? I mean, the game is evolving.
Right.
I mean, we're here at an NCAA-sanctioned event, and just, 4 days ago, they decided you get 5 years to play 5. Like,
right.
Things are changing fast. How do you have to adapt and prepare these kids, because this landscape keeps changing?
Yeah, it's vastly different. So when I was in high school, we didn't have a live period. You relied on AAU in your high school, and then growing up in Oklahoma, you got recruited by Texas, obviously Oklahoma, Kansas, like a lot of the surrounding states. So that was kind of our thing. But now it's a great opportunity for these young guys. They're able to be nationally known, nationally ranked, play in front of a lot of really good college coaches, and really can change the trajectory of their life if they really put in the work.
I won't mention the teams that are on the floor now because of what I'm about to say next. Your game had a lot more coaches sitting on that sideline. This game comes up and we have a lot fewer coaches. The coaches know what they're looking for, clearly. How do you feel? DeMatha is not one of the schools that I often have issues with. I see consistency on your roster from year to year. There's some schools that will poach players, and I can't keep up with some of these transfers. How hard has it become to keep your players and retain them? Obviously, they want to be a DeMatha stag. How hard has it become to retain them?
Yeah, it's difficult. We had, several guys leave from our program, but the allure is them going to school for, 3 to 5 hours and then being able to go in the gym. So that's
bingo.
So that's difficult for us because we're a traditional high school where we demand kids to go to classes. This particular year, I'm so proud of our guys. We had an overall GPA of a 3.5. So our guys were in the classroom. Not only that, they were excelling in the classroom. Not only that, we had multiple guys: Danny Abbas, Jared Jeffers, Ethan Michelle. They all took AP classes. So they all did honor classes. So they're really smart students on and off the court, which I think will help you as a lifelong learner. You know what I mean, and try to really get the DeMatha tag and the DeMatha brotherhood on your chest.
I will tell you this, Danny, it's him. You remember Frank Siakabe. It's a tie between those two who are the best interviews. Those two kids are the most respectful. I know Frank wasn't here. He was at Fairfax Christian. But him and Danny are the most wonderful, pleasant, manly kids that we've interviewed, just so you know. Major wasn't a problem, just so you know. I don't want you to think he was a problem. No.
I got to listen to his interview.
No, he wasn't a problem at all. So the landscape has changed. I'm glad you said it because, that's the allure. 3 to 5 hours of school a day, maybe all online, right? And here it's a bit more traditional. I'm going to ask you this question every year. How is the rest of the DMV catching up? It used to be WCAC and everybody else. I do feel like the WCAC is still the elite, conference in the area. But here comes the MAC and here comes the IAC, right? And last year I saw a game where Landon, I think, took Gonzaga to overtime or within 2 or 3 points. How is that changing?
Well, one, they always have really good coaches. Me coming from the IAC,
you were St. Stephen's, right?
Yeah, St. Stephen's.
We just had him on here, Andre.
Andre, great kid, great guy. He was my assistant for a few years. But Andre, great young man. But yeah, I think the coaching is really good at all levels now. IAC, MAC, WCAC, and then the players, are really developing and really working on their craft. So I think, in years past, or maybe, 10 years ago, the top players all went to the WCAC, but now, they're spread around. Eric Singletary does a really good job, comes to mind, and Sidwell,
Does he
runs.
ever stop winning?
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. And then, in the IAC, you have Bruce, who's a really good coach. You have Landon's coach. You have Andre at St. Stephen, St. Agnes, Fitzpatrick as principal. So all those guys have been battle tested, and they have high basketball IQ, and kids run their stuff to a T.
Right. Please.
Tell me, why is it important, and what about this gym makes it where you have the camp here, Summer League is here, DMV Live is here? It seems like every event is here. Why? We know why this gym is so important.
You see that name over there?
The name over there.
Mr. Wooten set it up.
Right.
But tell me what that name means to you, and why DeMatha in this gym still has that pull for all these events.
Yeah. So Morgan Wooten was phenomenal. So me growing up in Oklahoma, my high school coach would tell me about Morgan Wooten. So for me to be the head coach here is absolutely a blessing from God. So I don't take this job for granted. But I just think, one, the gym is, I think, the nicest gym in the area. Two, it's centrally located where people can get in and out pretty quickly. We have ample parking. And then three, it's a, great event. Top teams come here and play. We have, the best of everything. So I think it's just a great opportunity for all players to showcase their skill set in front of the coaches. And it benefits everyone.
Coach, DeMatha has long since been a premier program across the country. We don't have to talk about Power Memorial. We know all the stories, right? I regret that I never actually got to see Morgan coach.
Right.
I never got to see him coach. You always had time for us, so we thank you for that. You always had time for kids with your summer camp, so we just want to thank you for that. We'll see you next week, right?
Yes, sir.
Starting Tuesday, we'll see you next week.
That's the goal.
But no, thank you for all you do and bringing this here. I mean, it could be taxing and overwhelming, but you always have time to talk. Like, he will literally have all his stuff together. He's walking to his car. He'll see me. He'll change direction just to shake my hand. So I appreciate you giving my kids the time of day, too.
No problem.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Mike G. Jones III. He's at DeMatha. This is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to the DMV Hoops Podcast, your home for high school basketball coverage across the DMV. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Follow us on Instagram and X at DMV Hoops Podcast. The DMV Hoops Podcast is hosted by Kurt Cross, featuring Chelsea Cross. Thanks for listening.